Hi, my name is Kat. Welcome to my channel. It's been a while since my last video. March was also another crazy month for me, but anyway. Today I'm going to talk about books written by female authors, and I'm going to specifically focus on non-Caucasian female authors. I was taking a look at my bookshelf and I realised that I had a lot of books written by men and written by Caucasian women, but this vast category of non-Caucasian female was just completely unrepresented. So today I'm going to give you some recommendations for books I've read and really enjoyed, and also tell you about some books that are on my TBR shelf that I intend to get to as soon as possible. There are a few books to get through, so here we go. The first book I want to talk about is The Joy Luck Club by Amy Tan. The Joy Luck Club is about Chinese American mothers and daughters and their complex relationships. These Chinese mothers are first-generation immigrants, and they find that they're raising their daughters in cultures that are completely unknown to them. And the daughters often feel frustrated by the lack of resonance they can have with their mothers because they grew up in a completely different culture. The next book is Homegoing by Yaa Gyasi, which I read in February and completely loved. I won't go into the story much because this is really one you should peel back for yourself. But I will say that at the beginning in Ghana, we meet two half-sisters. One half-sister is living in a building called the Castle as the mistress to a white man, and her half-sister is in the underbelly of the castle, being shackled and about to be sold as a slave. The next book I have with me, and that is Maya Angelou's I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. This is the first of 7 memoirs, and this one specifically focuses on her childhood, mostly in Arkansas. I just finished reading this and I really liked it. It tells about what it was like to grow up in a black neighborhood, being raised by her grandmother and her uncle along with her brother. There's a lot of sorrow in here, there's a lot of pining for parents. There are a lot of deep emotions, and what I found amazing about this book was her ability to write a child's thoughts in a way that was completely relatable. Not perhaps relatable if you're a little bit older at the moment, but relatable in the way that you may have had those thoughts and feelings as a child yourself once. The next book I've talked about many times on this channel because I feel as though everyone should read it, and that is Americanah by Chimamanda Ngozi Adiche. The story is about 2 Nigerians, one who gets a fellowship from Princeton and the other who ends up trying to make a life in England. But interwoven through the narrative are these amazing observations about what it is like to live in the world that judges you so much by the colour of your skin and the accent of your voice and the coarseness of your hair and all of these things combined. It has these amazing observations about America, about Nigeria, about the UK, and just opens your eyes. It's one of these books that makes you stare your own ignorance in the face and acknowledge it and then go some way to fixing it. The next book is The Vegetarian by Han Kang. Han Kang is a South Korean author, and this was translated into the English by Deborah Smith. And this is about a woman who decides to become vegetarian after having a series of bizarre and unsettling dreams. She is made fun of, ridiculed, abused, and eventually neglected by her family, as this is a decision that is virtually unheard of in her society except for religious reasons. And as the story goes along, she completely unravels. The interesting thing is, this is never told through her own eyes, but instead told through the voices of her husband, her brother-in-law, who heavily sexualizes her, and her sister. It was one of the most intriguing books I read last year, and I would very much recommend it. The next book is Toto-chan, The Little Girl by the Window by Tetsuo Kuroyanagi. This is another memoir set in Japan, and when Tetsuo was a young girl, she was kicked out of school, and her mother decided that her daughter needed an alternative education. And so she sent her to this new school that was being run out of, and I kid you not, old train carriages. How cool is that? I love that. I love that that existed. In this alternative school, the headmaster was teaching children in a completely different way, especially when it came to accepting differences and being kind to each other. And this is such a wonderful book. It's really uplifting. I read it many years ago and I still think about it to this day. The book after that is Persepolis by Marjane Satrapi or Persepolis, and it is a memoir in comic book form. This follows her as a displaced Iranian child growing up between Iran and Europe, and therefore building up a very complex sense of identity that is neither here nor there. It's such a personal look at the changes in Iran and how Iran went from the secular old Iran to the religious new Iran. I remember it opening my eyes completely and really learning so much about a part of the world that I'd never really read about before. The next two books are written by the same author. They are Interpreter of Maladies and Unaccustomed Earth by Jhumpa Lahiri. And these are about Indian Americans who bridge the two cultures and the struggles that come with that. They are a series of short stories, and even though you only get 30 to 40 pages to get to know characters, they really stick in your brain. She has this amazing ability to write about snapshots in people's lives, and it makes for such an enjoyable experience. So on to my TBR shelf. I have 5 books I want to talk about, and 2 of these are by authors that I have already mentioned. The first one is Human Acts by Han Kang, about the Gwangju uprising, when Gwangju locals in South Korea took up arms to retaliate the student massacre that had happened after these students protested the current regime. The book after that is Purple Hibiscus by Chimamanda Ngozi Adiche. This is about a girl in Nigeria who grows up under the shadow of her protective and repressive father, who is wealthy and religiously fanatic. However, when Nigeria starts to fall apart because of a military coup, she ends up getting sent away to pastures anew. That rhymed, and I didn't mean for it to. The book after that is The Colour Purple by Alice Walker. Many of you will have read it. I can't believe I haven't read it yet. But this is set in the 1930s. It is about the lives of African American women at that time and how difficult and harsh their lives were. I know that this has been banned and censored and challenged in many American schools, and I find that the more a book is banned, the more I want to read it. The book after that is The Bestiary by Lily Hoang, who I believe is Vietnamese American, and this is a series of loose essays about various themes, such as her failure to be this model second generation Asian American daughter, her failure and ineptitude as a friend, and her constant attraction to men who just take advantage of her. It's apparently brutally honest, but what I'm mostly curious about is the fact that she weaves fairy tales through her narratives. I can't imagine what that's like, and I really want to read that. The final book I'm going to talk about today is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. I've seen this on various parts of the internet, and it seems to have had very good reviews. This is about a girl who lives between two worlds, her posh school and her poor neighborhood, and her life is so delicately balanced. However, one day she witnesses the shooting of her childhood friend, and this delicate balance that has held her life together completely begins to crumble. As soon as I heard about this book, I knew I had to get it. I'm so excited for my order to come through, and I really hope it is as good as it seems. So there you go, those are my 14 books. Let me know if you've read any of them and what you thought of them. I'd also love to hear about what your favourite books written by female authors are. Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, bye!